Unit 1. Reporting and other legal obligations. This chapter provides an insight of all relevant laws governing business operations as well as legal obligations to which business entities are subject in Croatia. The laws concerning tax system are presented in Chapter 2 within this module. Croatia is an EU member state. Hence, all EU regulations are in force in Croatia, while the EU directives are covered by the national legislation. The most important acts that you should know are: the web portal Zakon HR provides an insight into all applicable laws in which are included all subsequent amendments and the date when it came into force. On the web portal Property HR also provides all consolidated text of current applicable laws by areas are available. Web page is updated daily. This law stipulates fundamental traders, corporations and sole traders status regulations on establishing and running business operations by business entities, owners, related parties, economic interest groups, foreign companies, subsidiaries and their status transformation. Furthermore, obligations such as annual reports, books of account, accounting, balance sheet, legal relationships between shareholders, termination of the company, etc. are set out in this law. By the Code of Obligations, ZOO, the basic principles and general regulations on all obligation relationships are governed. For those obligation relationships that are governed by other laws, the provisions of the obligatory code shall apply for the issues not regulated by those particular laws. In principle, contracting parties can regulate their obligation relationships freely unless in contravention of the Constitution, compulsory regulations or moral principles. Unless expressly otherwise provided in the agreement, the provisions of the obligatory code shall apply. These provisions shall also apply where the agreement is illegal. Unless expressly otherwise provided within the industry, the provisions of this code apply to all types of contracts. The Code of Obligations is comprehensive. It consists of 2 volumes. The first of them is labeled General Part, the second one Special Part. In the first volume, explanations on the general characteristics of obligatory relations between participants, financial obligations, compensation, payment deadlines, agreements, limitation period and creditors. The provisions regarding concluding and interpretation of contract by types, loan, lease, commercial representation, insurance, transport, storage, orders, license, guarantees etc., and other specificity and effect of contract are dealt with in the second volume. In Croatia, the protection of personal data is regulated by both the European GDPR and a special national law, Act on Enforcement of the General Data Protection Regulation. Subject to this law are the obligations of personal data processors in view of protecting personal data and sensitive personal data. In this respect, Croatian Personal Data Protection Agency is the authority in charge of providing advice to businesses and by whom inspection is conducted. In case of violation, a company may be penalized by this authority. The provisions regulating the safety and health of the employees at their workplaces are listed in the Law on Safety at Work. Here, the rights and the obligations of both employers and employees are defined in view of safe and healthy working conditions, including the appropriate measures to be taken in this respect. This law specifies employers' responsibilities to implement measures for safe work, stipulates workers' rights and duties, planning of joint activities, risk assessment and other obligations. When employing first employee, an entrepreneur shall contact an authorized person, natural or business subject, to implement work safety measures because each new employee must pass exam of work protection and employer must make study. According to the Law on Safety of Work, the study must include the recording of hazards and harmfulness in the work environment, their assessment, risk, and measures to ensure the safe and healthy work of employees. Reporting shall be conducted in accordance with the applicable laws and regulations. An annual report shall be submitted by any company to the Ministry of Finance, Tax Department, Financial Agency, FINA, for statistical purpose till the 30th of April, and to the Financial Agency, FINA, for the purpose of public notice into court registry till the 30th of June. Its format shall correspond to the business entity's form and its size. A limited liability company, for example, shall complete a balance sheet, a profit and loss statement, corporation tax form, enclosed additional calculations, reports and addendum, including the corresponding notes and decisions. JOPPD reports of citizens' income and related tax and contributions are submitted to the Croatian Ministry of Finance, Tax Department only via EPRESNA system. For some payments, reports shall be submitted the same, no later than the next day, employee salary, income payment etc. Reports for other payment to the employees and citizens, transport, daily allowance, scholarship, trainee recompense etc. are submitted no later than 15th day after expiration of the month when payment is conducted. VAT reporting to the Tax Department via EPRESNA must be done monthly or every 3 months. However, companies which are doing business with VAT payers from other EU countries have to report monthly regardless of the yearly turnover. Business entities data from which are visible last annual financial reports gathered by Financial Agency, FINA, are published on Ministry of Justice of the Republic of Croatia, Court Registry webpage. Central Bureau of Statistics is authorized for gathering business entities operating data for statistical purpose. Yearly financial reports for statistical purpose shall be submitted to the Financial Agency, FINA. Other statistical reports are submitted by certain business entities which are selected with sampling method by Central Bureau of Statistics. The data acquired by the business entities is used to conduct analyses and calculations of performance indicators, including gross domestic product, GDP. Furthermore, based on the data obtained, future economic policies are proposed. Flows of goods between business entities in Croatia and other EU members are reported to the Intrastat system. These include commercial transactions, movements of purchase-sale goods, return and replacement of products, as well as all other types of transactions listed on Central Bureau of Statistics website. Excluded from reporting to the Intrastat are services, goods in transit, dispatches and receipts of goods listed in one of the annexes on their website. All reports shall be submitted electronically. A digital certificate is required, so this shall be obtained by any entrepreneur or authorized person. This can be arranged at Financial Agency, FINA. Delay in submitting or failing to submit reports prescribed by the law is rather highly penalized, from 10,000 HRK to 100,000 HRK for a business entity and from 5,000 to 20,000 HRK for the responsible person. The amount depends on the size of the company and type of the report. All business entities have to keep an archive of the business documentation. What documentation should be stored and how much time it must be kept is defined by the following laws. Accounting Act. Regulations on Accounting Act. The General Tax Law. List of Croatian State Archive. A documentation which must be kept permanently. Annual reports, the balance sheets prepared for Tax Department and Financial Agency. Payrolls and all documentation related to the salaries calculation. Contracts for the purchase and sale of real estate. All other documentation must be kept at last 11 years. Complete documentation of bookkeeping events, issued invoices, invoices received, contracts for the purchase and sale, contracts of short-term financial investments and short-term loans, transaction accounts, certain calculations etc. It is recommended that foreign investors leave the preparation of reports to experts from accounting services which have the knowledge and experience in making and presenting all the specific data required in the reports.